بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. I would like to welcome all of you, especially my undergraduate student. This is the Management 301 Principles of Management. Today, September 22, 2020, and this is Dr. Saamer Hamad, and we will go today into Chapter 7, which is Foundation of Planning. And so far in this textbook, which is Pearson textbook, okay, that we are taking this course from, Management 301, we started the first 5 chapters. We talk about the introduction to management, management history, organizational culture and environment, and managing in a global environment, and we talked about social responsibility and managerial ethics. Managerial function are, okay, management function are for planning, organizing, leading, controlling. These are the 4 managerial functions, and we just, since the beginning of the semester, today we are going to talk about the foundation of a planning. There is about 3 chapters. We talked just last time about the manager as decision maker. And we said that the manager is nothing more than resource allocator and decision maker. And this is the second chapter in planning, okay? Therefore, we are focusing on the first managerial function, which is the planning. And today we are going to discuss everything about the planning. Therefore, this chapter and next chapter is going to be about the planning, and the next chapter is going to be the strategic management. And then we'll go into the organizing. In the organizing, we have another 4 chapters and another 4 chapters in leading, and then last 2 chapters going to be in controlling. Now, it's important to understand all aspects of planning. Therefore, we are going to first discuss the concept of a planning is looking into the future. What is it that we want to be, and how do we reach there? Okay, and for that we are gonna have this. Okay, this is present. Sorry, this is past. This is past. And this is where we are right now, which is present. And this is future. Okay. Now, and these are the managerial function. The function of MGT management is planning, organizing, leading, controlling. These are the managerial function. And this, what is it that we want to be in the future? Okay. we have certain objective to would like to accomplish in the future. Okay? What shall we do right now in order to reach that objective? We are trying to reach the future. We have mission, and we have goals, and we have vision. Okay? This is mission will lead us to goal, and goals will lead us to vision. And mission is how are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? While vision, what you want to accomplish. What you want to accomplish. And it is both quantitative and qualitative. And the vision, okay, to reach your objective is what you want to be. What you want to be. What you want to be. And this is again present, past, and future. And as you go along, you will be facing management of change or management of delta. Therefore, this is just a quick view of concept of planning. It's very important, okay? Now, we can also look at the planning. Now, it's important to know that the planning for the 60s is different than the planning for the 70s, and for the 80s it's different than the 90s, and the different than the 200, and the different the 210, and the different than 220. Because the plans should be flexible and changing to reach your objective, and you always should review. Now, at each year, you will be literally dealing with the 3 types of plans. Last year plan, and this year plan, and next year plan. Each year, you will be reviewing last year plan, okay? And you will be executing this year plan, and you will be planning for next year. Therefore, in each year, you will be dealing with the 3 plans. Last year, you review it. This year, execute it. And next year, you will plan it, or you'll start doing it or writing it. Very good. Now, planning is also resource allocation. Planning done at all managerial function. It's done at the organizational level, at divisional level, at department level, and even at personal level. Therefore, you do plan at all levels. Now, planning is also done at all three levels of management, at lower, middle, and top management. You have to be careful that unless specify when you go this way, unless it specifies, you lose clarity, on interpretation. It has to be specific from top all the way to lower management. Unless you are specified, you lose clarity on interpretation. Also, you have, obviously, you have mission and you have vision. You have, for planning, goals, and you have objectives. And you have and good. You have also plan specific, which is clearly defined, and you have directional, which is general guideline, and we have also strategic, which is long-term plan, and we have which is longer than 3 years, more than 3 years. Okay, and we have short-term, less than 1 year, and this is called operational. And we have also what if, or what if your original plan doesn't work? Then you should have what we call contingency plan. Also, we have something called MBO, or management by objective. Therefore, how to make a plan? Okay. How to make a plan? You start with the lower management. Okay. Then you go to middle management, then go to top management. You start by feeding from lower management, go to middle management, then from middle management go to top management, and top management put the overall plan. This is very much the whole planning process. Planning, nothing more than, in a very simple way, resource allocation. Planning is done at organizational level, divisional level, department level, personnel level. Within the planning, we have vision, and we have mission, and we have goals, and we have objectives. Now, planning done at the top management, middle management, lower management. How do we make a plan? We get from the lower management, what do you want to do in your department? Give me your plans. The middle management takes it, and then they add to it what they want, and then they raise it to the top management. Top management, they put the overall plan and the strategic plan. Okay, therefore, unless specify, you lose clarity, interpretation when you do this. We have a specific planning, we have directional planning, and we have a strategic plan, which is long term, more than 3 years, and we have short term, which is less than 1 year, and this is called operational plan. We have also something called contingency plan. What if your original plan doesn't work? And we have management by objective. صدق الحق الله أكبر الله أكبر. Now we'll just go through the slides quickly so that we'll see how this concept of a planning working. Planning is a primary managerial activity that involves defining the organizational goal, establishing an overall strategy for achieving those goals, and developing plans for organizational work activities. We have the formal planning, specific goals covering specific time period, written and shared with organizational members. Why managers plan? Purpose for planning: provide direction, reduce uncertainty, and minimize waste and redundancy, and set the standards for controlling. Okay. Planning and performance. Formally, planning is associated with higher profit and returns on asset. If you plan, this is associated with higher profits, positive financial results. Okay, if you don't plan, I don't want to say you lose, but yes, you can lose if you don't make proper plan. The quality of planning and implementation affect performance more than the extent of the planning. Therefore, very important to have good quality plans. The external environment can reduce the impact of planning on performance. Sometimes you plan something, but the environment become, example, COVID-19, just lots of plan has been changed because of the COVID-19, okay? Formal planning must be used for several years before planning begins to affect performance. Therefore, with the planning, you have to be patient. Don't look for quick and fast results because it's a process. It will take time. Okay. Therefore, formal planning must be used for several years before planning begins to affect performance. Okay, and planning in the Arab world. Okay, planning is underdeveloped in Arab societies. Some attributes this to an Arab culture that is supposedly fixed on the past and resistance planning of the future. Fatalism, or al-Qadariyya, the belief in predestination in the sense that a person has no control over things that happen to him as things have already been predestined by God. Yani everything already predestined, why should I plan? But this is what you call it fatalism. This is mistaken understanding of qadar. This is not correct. Okay? Belief in qadar does not mean that people should not plan. You always should plan. Okay? You should not just sit there and say it's predetermined, I shouldn't plan, this is wrong. Okay? Emergence of many successful Arab entrepreneurs and managers. We have so many successful of them in the Arab world. They built their business on a proper planning and adequate organization. This demonstrates that they have been progressively adopting modern managerial standards. Okay, goals, also called objectives, okay? Goals, also objective, desired outcome for individual or group. There is a difference between, but we can just say goals, also objectives, desired outcomes for individuals or groups or entire organization, provide direction and evaluation performance criteria. These are the goals. Plans, it's a document that outline how these goals, okay, are to be accomplished. How I'm going to accomplish my goal, these are plans, okay? Describe how resources are to be allocated and establish activity schedules. Type of goals, we have financial goals, strategic goals, okay? And financial goals are related to the expected internal financial performance of the organization, while the strategic goals are related to the performance of the firm relative to factor in its external environment. For instance, for example, the competitors. If managers emphasize only one goal, other goals necessary for long-term success are ignored. So be careful not to concentrate in one goal and forget about other goals. Therefore, we have what we call SMART objectives. SMART refer to S, specific; M, measurable, you can measure it; A, attainable, it could be done; R, relevant; and T, time bounded. But this is what we mean by SMART objective: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bounded. Okay. Stated goal, type of goals again, stated goals. We have stated goals can be founded in an organization charter, annual reports, stated goal. Whatever you wanted to say, usually find it in the publication for in the organization charter, annual report, or public relation document, or announcement, or in public statement made by managers. Now, these stated goals, these broadly worded official statement of the organization, intent for public consumption, that may be irrelevant to its goals or what actually goes on the organization. In other words, we have two type of goals. The stated one that you put it for publication, for public, for general public, and you just state it. That's not necessarily the same. Usually, it's a broad, okay, and that's not necessarily is the same as the goals that you wanted for yourself, that you are working with it. And sometimes you don't share it, you just leave it for yourself or for your company, okay? But it is different than those broad goals. Type of plans, we have breadth, which is strategic and operational; time frame, long-term, short-term; specificity, directional or specific; frequency, use, either single use or standing kind of plans. Strategic plans apply to entire organization, establish the organization overall goals, seek to position the organization in terms of its environment, cover extended period of time, because it's strategic. Always strategic means long term, okay? Operational, short term, or medium term, okay? Operational plans specify the details of how the overall goals are to be achieved, cover short time period. Long-term plans with time frame extended beyond 3 years. As we discussed here, it's 3 years and beyond, and short-term less than 1 year. Short-term plans are plans with time frame of 1 year or less. Specific plans that are clearly defined and leave no room for interpretation. It has to be specific, we said. Unless it's been specified, your plans, you lose clarity on interpretation. People interpret it differently, especially the manager. You have to be as much specific as you can in your plans. Directional plans, flexible plans that set out general guidelines and provide focus, yet allow discretion in implementation. So these are the two types of plans: specific and directional, depends on the type of organization and the type of service or product you deliver. We have single-use plan, a one-time plan specifically designed to meet the need of a unique situation. And we have a standing plan, ongoing plan that provide guidance for activities performed repeatedly. A traditional goal setting, okay, approach to goal setting or to setting goals, traditional goal settings. We have a broad goal are a set of the top of the organization. Broad goals, traditional goal, broad goals are set at the top of the organization. Goals are then broken into sub-goals for each organizational level. Goals assumes top management knows best because they can see the big picture. Goals are intended to direct, guide, and concentrate from the above. Goals lose clarity and focus as lower level management attempt to interpret and define the goals for their areas of responsibility. Therefore, if you are going to set it from the top, you have to define for them exactly what they want to do, what you want them to do. The downside of traditional goal setting, okay, individual employees, he said, or he think, don't worry about quality, just work fast. The department manager objective, he said, quote unquote, increase profit regardless of the means. Divisional manager objective, I want to see significant improvement in this division's profit. Top management, we need to improve the company performance. Therefore, you have to be careful as these plans go up and down. You have always to monitor and to put them in the right track, not to lose clarity or specificity. Approach to goal setting again continued. We have mean ends chain, the integrated network of goals that result from establishing a clearly defined hierarchy of organizational goals. Achievement of lower level goals is the means by which to achieve the higher level goals. You achieve the lower, then you go to the second one, you achieve it, then you go to the top. This is the mean of achieving all the goals. You want to make sure that goals is being achieved at all levels of management. Okay, very good. Management by objective, we discussed it, MBO. Specific performance goals are jointly determined by employees and manager. Employee manager said the manager told the employees, give me your objective. What you want to do? How long will it take you to finish this project? You ask them. This is management objective. Okay. Progress toward accomplishing goal is periodically reviewed. You just don't leave him. You always periodically has to review his accomplishment. Rewards are allocated on the basis of progress toward the goals. If he do well, you could even give him a reward. Key elements of MBO: goals, specificity, participative decision making, and explicit performance evaluation period and feedback. Done all jointly. Okay. Steps in typical MBO program or management by objective program. The organization overall objective and the strategies are formulated. First step. Second, major objectives are allocated among divisional and departmental units. Third, unit managers collaboratively set specific objectives for their units with their managers. Four, specific objectives are collaboratively set in all department members. Five, action plans defining how objectives are to be achieved are specified and agreed upon by management and employees. Number six, which is the action plans are implemented. Number seven, progress toward objective is periodically reviewed and feedback is provided. Number 8, or the last step, successful achievement of objective is reinforced by performance-based rewards. Does MBO work? Reason for MBO success. Yes, it works. Reason for MBO success: top management commitment and involvement. Potential problem with MBO: not as effective as dynamic environment that require constant resetting on goals, and overemphasis on individual accomplishment may create a problem with the teamwork, allowing the MBO program to become an annual paper shuffle. Management by objective: you give the employee the work and you tell him, I just will come and check with you and make sure that things are going periodically. Does it work? Doesn't work. Depend on the organization, depend on the culture, depending where you are, depending how big, how small the organization. Now, about the Arab world, does it work here? You also assume that you give a trust to the employee. And all these questions you have always to think about it before you do MBO, management by objective. Very good. Well-written goals, written in terms of outcomes, not action. Focuses on the ends, not the means. Well-written goals, measurable and quantifiable. Specifically define how the outcomes is to be measured and how much is expected. Well-written goals, clear as to time frame. How long before measuring accomplishment. Well-written goal, challenging yet attainable. Low goals do not motivate. High goals motivates if they can be achieved. Well-written goals, written down. It has to be written, okay? Focus, define, and make goals visible. Well-written goals are communicated to all necessary organizational members. Put everybody on the same page. Steps in goal setting: review the organizational mission statement. Do goals reflect the mission? This is the question you should always ask yourself. Evaluate available resources. Are resources sufficient to accomplish this mission? Determine goals individually or with others. Are goals specific, measurable, and timely? Write down the goals and communicate them. Is everybody on the same page? Review results and whether goals are being met, or what changes are needed in mission, resources, or goals. Now, developing the plans, contingency factor in planning. Managers level in the organization. We have a strategic plan, as we said, at the higher level, operational plan at the lower level, degree of environmental uncertainty. We have a stable environment, specific plans. You have to be very specific when it is stable. When it is dynamic environment, just like these days, we are going through lots of COVID-19 and, it has to be specific. It has to be specific but flexible plan. Length of a future commitment concept. Current plans affecting future commitment must be sufficiently long term to meet those commitments. As we said, this is planning at the organizational level. This is lower level, first management. First level management, second middle management, then top executive. Now, at the lower level, we have operational plan. At the top management, we have more of strategic planning. Approach to planning, establishing a formal planning department. Depending on this company size, sometimes you have just to do a planning department, a group of a planning specialists who help managers write organizational planning specialists who help write organization plan. Planning is a function of management. It should never become the sole responsibility of the planners. Plans should be done by management, by the manager. You can bring specialists in the planning, but the management itself, it should do the planning along with those specialists. You don't just leave it up to them. Because nobody knows your organization as much as you do. Those planners who come specialists, they don't know, they are outside, they don't know your company or organization as much as you do. Involving organizational members in the process. Plans are developed by members of organizational units at various levels and then coordinate with other units across the organization. Criticism of the planning, contemporary issues in planning. We have some people criticize the planning, and also we have effective planning in dynamic environment. What are these criticisms? Criticism of planning, that the planning may create rigidity, not flexible. Planning cannot be developed for dynamic environment. I can put a plan, but for this dynamic environment, I cannot, work with them. Formal plans cannot replace intuition and creativity. Okay, planning focuses managers' attentions on today's competition, not tomorrow's survival. This is another criticism for planning. Formal planning reinforces today's success, which may lead to tomorrow's failure. Just the planning is not enough. Therefore, we have planning, organizing, leading, controlling. Therefore, these are just precautious about, not to depend too much on planning. There are other things in the managerial function, your organization, other than planning. We have planning, organizing, leading. There are more than one ingredient, okay, for success. Now, last slide, effective planning in dynamic environment. Develop plans that are specific but flexible. Understand that the planning is ongoing process. Change plans when condition warrants. As you go, you can change your plan. Persistence in planning eventually pay off. If you stick to the planning and just keep doing it, eventually it will pay off. Flatten the organizational hierarchy to foster the development of planning skills at all organizational levels. In other words, don't depend on tall organization management when planning. Depend on a flat organization to make sure that the plan is going to take place. Flat, tall. And by this, we'll conclude our session for today. Management 301, Principle of Management. And this is we talk about the foundation of a planning. And as usual, I'm going to share with you my blackboard so that you can see it, or whiteboard so that you can just take a capture of it, and it will help you understand what we went through. And this is, we talked about past, present, and the future. We talk about the mission, goals, vision. We talk about the future. and we talk about the management change, management of Delta, and we said the plans for the 60s, different for the 70s, different for the 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, and 2020. And we talk about the planning process that, done at all level, top, middle level management. For the planning, we have mission and vision, and we have goals, objectives. And we said the essence of planning is resource allocation, and the planning is done at organizational level, divisional level, department level, and even personal level. And we have a specific plan, directional plan, we have strategic plan, and we have operational plan, and we have a contingency plan. What if your original plan didn't work? You have to have backup plans, okay? And we have MBO, management by objective, and how to make this plan. You start from the lower. You requested, your plans from lower management. You take it to middle management, then you bring it to the upper management, and the upper management put it strategically. And we talked about managerial function, planning, organizing, leading, controlling, and we are today discuss the planning. And we said each year we do 3 plans. We review last year plan, and we plan or execute this year plan, and we plan the next year. And this is the difference between tall organization and the flat. Thank you very much, and you have a good day.